Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Women's Soccer Show news segment covering the 15th of March through the 21st of March. This is a news segment that will drop every Monday. It's 10 minutes or less with all of the news and none of the opinions. Some weeks you'll be getting the news from me, Sarah, and other times you will be getting it from Helen across the pond. Don't forget our regular episodes are still dropping every Tuesday. This is just an added bonus. Let's kick it off with some huge news coming out of the FAWSL. Breaking news last night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 12:15 a.m. BST, that the FAWSL, BBC, and Sky have made a multi-million pound deal that puts the FAWSL on network TV. This is a 3-year deal lasting until summer of 2024. The details of the deal are as follows. 22 live matches on BBC TV, including a minimum of 18 on BBC One and BBC Two, the remaining matches on Red Button and online. Up to 44 live matches with a minimum of 35 shown on Sky Sports Football, Premier League, and main event channels. Selected fixtures will also be simulcast on Sky One and Sky Sports Mix. All broadcasters will have rights to online coverage, in-play clips, and highlights. WSL clubs also have rights to in-play clips and highlights as well. Remaining matches not selected for broadcast will be shown live on the FA Player. There will be one free-to-air game on BBC every weekend, with Sky having 2 other picks. 75% of investment revenue will go to WSL clubs and 25% to the Women's Championship. The FA's Kelly Simmons expects the deal will give the WSL a massive audience boost, saying, quote, "It is one of the biggest deals commercially, definitely for women's football in terms of a domestic deal, and up there for women's sports as a whole." Women's sports succeeding across the world help other women's sports. Benchmarks for the FAWSL will be measured against other high-profile women's sports leagues such as the WNBA and the NWSL here in the USA, who average in the low hundreds of thousands. The FA, BBC, and Sky are expecting to beat those numbers. Steph Horton commented on the deal, saying that it is an, quote, "amazing step forward," unquote, for women's football, and that the players can't wait to, quote, "show the world what an unbelievable league we have." Staying in the FAWSL, this past week saw a movement in the table with key fixtures affecting the top, middle, and bottom of the table. There was a shake-up in the top with Arsenal now only 3 points behind third-place Manchester United with a game in hand. Arsenal control their destiny for Champions League. Reading dropped to 7th place while Brighton slid into 6th right above them. And down at the bottom of the table, Bristol City and West Ham continue to swap places for the relegation spot. West Ham do have 2 games in hand over Bristol City right now. Moving on into the NWSL, the NWSL is set to see 2 new expansion teams in 2022 in both Los Angeles and Sacramento, California. Recently, multiple sources are reporting that there are now talks of the Sacramento team moving to San Diego instead of Sacramento. This is a developing story that we will continue to keep you updated on. The Challenge Cup begins April 9th. We'll be putting out a ton of coverage for the Challenge Cup, so please stay tuned for more. Moving over into La Liga Femenina in Spain, otherwise known as the Primera División in Spain. Currently, La Liga Femenina, the top women's league in Spain and home to arguably some of the best women's club teams in the world, for example, Barcelona, who are currently in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, does not yet have the distinction of being deemed a professional league. That's right. Finally, the Spanish government will be deeming women's soccer professional and apologize for the injustice after all of these years. Irene Lorenzo, president of Spain's Sports Council, said the government is ready to, quote, put an end to this injustice. According to ESPN, the CSD, Spain's Sports Council, is going to designate the Women's Football League as professional for the 2021-2022 season. Irene Lorenzo, speaking for the Spain Sports Council, stated that, quote, "It cannot be that the men's football is professional and yet women's football is still considered a non-professional. It has no logic, and we are going to put an end to this injustice to improve the conditions of female athletes and strengthen sports structures," end quote. Being considered a professional league will allow La Liga Femenina to be independent, to get better resources and improve conditions because it will be the clubs that will be organizing the league. Finally, moving on into the Champions League, Leg 1 of the quarterfinals would kick off on Wednesday. For more on these fixtures and previews of the games, check out our episode dropping tomorrow, Tuesday. With so many fantastic games, we'll be posting how everyone can find and watch these games because we know it has been difficult. For football games streamed live around the world, check out atafootball.com. That's atafootball.com. It's free to sign up, and it's a great source for the FAWSL, French Division 1, and Bundesliga live games. You can go back and watch other old fixtures too. And that's it from me, Sarah, at the WOSO Show. This has been Women's Soccer News in 10. See you next week.